Friday night, Jones Stadium lights.
You are Locked On Texas Tech, your daily podcast on the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Great to be with you again on Locked On Texas Tech on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day, always free and available on YouTube or anywhere you get podcasts. Now the number one sports podcast network in the world. This episode brought to you by Mazda. Like our players, we're driven by the details. Highlights make the reel, but the work behind them makes it count. The all-new Mazda CX-5, more to move every side of you. With Aaron Dickens in for Chris Lovell, I'm Casey Cowan. Aaron, great to be back with you once again. Wrapping up the week with a Friday news drop of sorts, something that we've been discussing for a period of time. We'll get into on today's episode, the possibility we were going to see some scheduling changes whenever it comes to the Red Raider path in the fall. The one that got the majority of the attention recently because of some public back and forth was Houston on a Friday. The other one we were adding to that list of those to be on the lookout for some change to come to was Texas Christian Thanksgiving weekend. We have now seen this confirmed here this Friday that this game between the Red Raiders and the Houston Cougars will be moving to Friday, September 18th. Texas Christian will be taking place actually on Thanksgiving Day, November 26th. So preparations now underway for those changes. A lot of things to consider regarding this and what it means for the program, Lubbock, the fan base, etc. So where do you kind of start in reacting to what now is written with pen and what will be coming our way?
This is what you want. I mean, you want to be nationally relevant. You want to be coveted by TV networks. You want to have opportunities to put up big viewership numbers. I mean, those are all good things. Good things for the future of your program. I mean, if we want to kind of look down the line at 2030 or whenever it is, if there is going to be some kind of bigger break, if there's going to be a super, I mean, whatever the hypotheticals are, you want to be in as good of a position as you possibly can be. And that is obviously winning games, being nationally relevant and in the national conversation as much as possible, and taking advantage of big TV windows. And so while certainly and obviously this stinks for the city of Lubbock, right, and small businesses around the city, this stinks for Texas Tech football fans that don't live within easy driving distance of Lubbock. This stinks for the program in terms of harder to get recruits on campus for those games, obviously. And I think, too, there's a discussion to be had about, does this put you at a slight disadvantage to your opponents on those games or for those games because of, where you play the week before, where they play the week before and all that. But ultimately, I mean, this is what you want. You can't have both. I mean, look at Ohio State, right? Look at Oklahoma. How much did we hear about Oklahoma complaining about 11 a.m. kicks when they were still in the Big 12? Well, it's because they were a nationally, and still are obviously, a nationally relevant program that people want to watch. Ohio State, big noon kickoff, same thing. Like, this is, if you're a Tech football fan, this is what you want more than anything else, right? Because you could be really, really bad and have a bunch of 6 o'clock kicks on ESPN Plus.
Sort of, I would agree, but I also think the component that makes it different is the Friday night versus just a lesser window on a Saturday. And I mean lesser as far as our preference as a fan base. The noon window is the big window for the television networks, but I think it's the Friday component, which speaks more to your league than it does really to anything else. But within the context of your league, you're the one that they want to feature in that instance. I get what you're saying. Definitely there when it comes to the Houston ball game. The Friday angle, there's just no way to get around it. It's not going to be easy to swallow for most of us. I think the feeling regarding the Horned Frog change is much different, and I want to get to that coming up in just a moment. But sticking with the Cougars for a second, let's go back and take a listen to some comments just a few days ago from Red Raider head coach Joey Maguire regarding this move with the Houston game.
I understand both perspectives. I understand one with a passion. I do believe without a doubt that Friday night, I know everybody's proud of their football in every state. We played teams from Ohio. We played teams from Florida whenever I was at at Cedar Hill, but it's different in Texas, and the disappointing part that we're not taking into account, like, one, I know it's great for ratings. And so it's awesome that our brand is going to be the brand on Friday night. I understand the TV part. I understand the money behind that. So I get all that and understand TV and our commissioner and the conference's stance. But, we're forgetting too, we're gonna put a lot on our fans to make sure we got that game sold out. But, like, how much money are we losing in the city of Lubbock playing on Friday night? Like, how many people are going to be at the friendship game, at all of, Lubbock ISD games, where Lubbock High, Cooper, Liberty, if they're playing out of a town, and then just any of our alumni outside of this area. I mean, I'm pretty sure that Ratliff Stadium in Odessa still sells out every Friday night. Those lights are bright. And so it's different. It's totally different in this state. And so it's frustrating. And again, I understand the deal behind it, but I would much rather be playing on a Saturday in that game. I do think when we get to that point, we're missing a great opportunity. I'll be shocked. Like, you should go ahead and put College Game Day in wherever LSU Ole Miss is playing that day. I mean, come on. We know where College Game Day is, right? I mean, Lane Kiffin against Ole Miss, I mean, you're going to put it there. But we're going to have a top 25 matchup, and I could be totally wrong. You guys can look at it, but I don't think there's going to be a better game around the nation as a top 25 matchup that should be on Big Noon in Lubbock, Texas, and we're missing that opportunity. Gaining an opportunity, of course, we're going to be maybe one of the only games on Friday, but missing an opportunity. And so for me as a high school coach, 23 years, you play high school football on Friday night, you play college football on Saturday, you go to church on Sunday, and you watch the NFL on Sunday. And I think that's, how it should be. And I think we're all stepping on each other's toes in football, and it's going to catch up to us all as a group, NFL, college, and high school at some point.
So Coach Maguire outlines what we know is going to be missed as a result of this change. I still expect a great environment that Friday night, but you're sacrificing a Saturday. No way to get around that. Horned Frogs on Thanksgiving. First, today's episode brought to you by Mazda. Mazda crafts cars for those who do more than simply move. Mazda delivers confidence with every ride, with more IIHS Top Safety Pick awards than anyone else. And with a Mazda, you can make everyday drives feel like anything but, with smooth handling and intuitive controls. Plus, with all-wheel drive standard in every crossover SUV, you can drive with confidence through almost any season. Like the Red Raiders, Mazda sweats every detail, because when you make every move count, impossible becomes irrelevant. And that's life with the all-new Mazda CX-5, with more space to connect, a bold new design, and more intuitive technology so you can stay connected to the road. The all-new Mazda CX-5, more to move, every side of you. Today's episode brought to you by TurboTax. It's tax time, but for a lot of us, the old way of doing taxes is a lot. Trying to book an appointment, that's not the most convenient. Sitting in a waiting room with a stack of papers, emailing back and forth, and wondering if they really get your situation. But this year, you're getting a major upgrade. Intuit TurboTax now has in-person locations nationwide. You can meet face-to-face with a real tax expert, and your documents get uploaded straight to your TurboTax app on the spot. And just like that, you're done. Your TurboTax expert works to get you every dollar you deserve, while you get real-time notifications as you go about your day. It's the relief of walking in and meeting a real person, and walking out knowing your taxes are being handled the right way. Head to turbotax.com/local to find a store near you and book your appointment. Horned Frogs on Thanksgiving just feels different to me, Aaron. I do feel like in this instance, while you may not like the impact on your own personal Thanksgiving plans here or there, I do think when you talk about the platform and the visibility that accompanies that, and hopefully a good showing for the good guys, that is attractive. And I do feel like that's, at least for me, a much different reaction or feeling about that one. And I'm one of those that typically does not worry much about the Thanksgiving weekend environment. I know a lot of people will talk about it and write about it, and students being here or there. If your season commands it, then you'll have a great environment. I have zero doubt about that. So I'll look to the record, I guess, on that front. But what's your angle or perspective on the late season movement Thanksgiving weekend?
I'd much rather play on Thanksgiving than Thanksgiving Saturday if that game is at home, right? But like you said, the record will largely dictate what the atmosphere is like. Although, I think back to 2008 when you had, you were a 10-win team hosting Baylor looking to win your 11th game of the season, and it was still a little bit kind of lackluster. And certainly the performance of the team that afternoon kind of mimicked the atmosphere. But, I think overall it stinks that 2 of your 5 Big 12 home games are on weekdays, right? I don't think anybody's excited about that. I don't think anybody's excited about the fact that your last football home game on a Saturday is November 7th, and then you go on the road for 2 weeks. And I think, too, if you look at, Houston's playing at home the week before they go to Lubbock. Texas Tech is going to be on the West Coast. It's going to be a late night on an already short week. That's a bit of a disadvantage. And then, you go to Thanksgiving, a shorter week even. TCU's playing at home, and Texas Tech is on the road in Waco. So, some slight disadvantages there. I think that it shouldn't determine the game, obviously. But overall, yeah, this is what you want, right? This is what we all want, and you got it. And it seemed a little bit, I don't know, hypocritical maybe is too strong of a word, but along those lines to kind of be up in arms about this. But that's just my take.
I think you had to fight against it. I don't think the public sort of rebuffing of it did any harm, and I'm glad that it was out there. I'm sure internally there was a big fight against it as well, but you do have to take your medicine at the end of the day. And when you talk about what we wanted, I don't more so even think about the platform or the visibility. I think about money. You wanted money. This was part of getting that money, television network agreements. Here we are. So there's some medicine to take, I guess, on 2 fronts this upcoming fall.
Yeah, I think that the public rebuffing of the Friday night game, and I'm talking more about the Cody Campbell, Brett Yormark angle.
Yeah, that's all I mean, really.
Yeah, because I don't doubt that Maguire, obviously having coached in high school for as long as he did, I'm sure that Friday nights have a very dear and sacred place to him in his heart. But the Campbell Yormark thing kind of seemed like a work to me, almost, to steal a wrestling term. Like, Texas Tech wanted everyone to know, hey, Lubbock ISD, Friendship, Cooper, Tech fans, we don't like this. This is going to be inconvenient for you on some level. Not our fault. And then I think on the Big 12 side, I think Yormark probably, score some points with the members of the league that are a little bit salty that Texas Tech has as much money as they do. And hey, look, I'm standing up. Look at me kind of firing back at the sport's most prominent booster. And so I think both sides kind of benefited from that. And I don't think that there's like knives out or anything on either side.
Yeah, they kind of played their part, I guess, or played their role in that situation, if you will. And some earlier reporting indicated that Kirby Hocutt, well before now, had been given Lubbock ISD, I think, and Friendship and Cooper superintendents, athletics directors, heads up on possible scheduling for this weekend because of the thought, the Houston game weekend, the thought that you would be there on a Friday night. So I don't know what's to come of all of that, but preparations internally and an expectation about this, you think, had to be in place for a while. And here we are. We see it now officially. Plan accordingly. Aaron, appreciate the time once again, my man. Enjoyed visiting
Anytime.
with you here this week. Chris Level will be rejoining the program on the other side of the weekend, but we'll catch up again down the road, man. So we'll see you then.
You bet.
Get subscribed on YouTube or anywhere you get podcasts so you never miss an episode. Appreciate the everydayers and the all-the-timers for always being along for the ride. If that is you, check out the newly launched Everydayer Club, $5 a month. Get you ad-free audio episodes, exclusive access to the Locked On Discord, and more. You can find a link to that in our show notes. Also a link to a free 14-day trial to check out the Matador Mob, your direct line to Chris and myself with one-on-one text sent straight to your phone. For Aaron, in for Chris, I'm Casey. Thanks as always for the time, and we hope to see you back for the next round on Locked On Texas Tech.